Hey guys, Pities here to tell you about the latest from Austrian Death Machine, Quad Brutal, out February 23rd on Napalm Records. The album has 10 tracks, 34 minutes in length, and this is the band's 4 full-length studio album. They are an American metalcore band. A band that took a 10-year hiatus between records, so there's a lot of excitement surrounding this album to see what kind of stories, what is Arnold getting himself into. And what I can tell you from that standpoint alone of Arnold's voice or voiceover, it has this duality in terms of how it affects the record. It affects it in the sound and it affects it in the overall structure. When it comes to the structure, having Arnold's voice, if you will, on the album, it gives you the sense of individuality because it defines the story on a song-by-song basis, but it also defines the continuity that exists between these tracks, and it helps glue the record a little bit more. It's not just about the individuality of the songs, but rather how you find the space and how you navigate that space that exists in between them. So having that almost narrator style approach really enhances the playability of the record. Then obviously the commonalities in sound that these songs offer add to that sense of cohesiveness of the album, making this a very solid structure all around. 10 songs, 34 minutes also doesn't hurt. Now when it comes to the sound, having Arnold's voice there definitely creates a nice little breather. It plays into the song, it plays into the theme of the song, and it plays into the sound that then represents that same theme. Everything is interconnected. You can even add to that the titles of the tracks. Nothing is by accident. Everything is working in order for you to really feel connected with the tracks and see what the big picture is all about, so you can have more appreciation for the songs, but you can dive a little bit deeper into songs that, let's face it, are not very deep. But you really go beyond just sound experience. You go in towards the lyrics, you go in towards the theme of the song, you go in towards the title of the song. It gives a little bit more life and definitely gives a little bit more depth. All around, when you look at the sound, you see a record that is heavy. Quad Brutal, it is brutal. But sometimes that brutality and the thickness within that brutality takes a little bit away from the definition of the sound itself and the definition of the elements within that same sound. Specifically, drums and guitars. This is not to say that the drums and guitars don't have quality, because they do. They sound magnificent. They have such an impact on that heaviness, on that brutality, on that thickness. But at times it feels like it's too much of it and there's no separation between them. The only times where the separation becomes a little bit more noticeable, a little bit more visible, is during the guitar solos. Then you can definitely see the room. The songs breathe a little bit better because you can see the room between where the drums are and where the guitars are going. You can also see a little bit of space between them when the guitars become a little bit more melodic, and songs that are a little bit more driven, that have underlying melodic riffs that give a little bit better texture to the sound, and is not just about thickness, heaviness, and brutality. Because when the songs move in that direction, it's just a big thick wall of sound coming at you, and it feels a little bit dense. The songs start to feel a little bit dense, and they become almost brutal just for brutality's sake. It works well for this band, for this project, for this record. It almost feels like it comes par and parcel with the themes of the songs. So there is some positivity in it, but the quality of the guitar playing on this album and the quality of the drums at times really deserved a little bit more individual attention. So it would have been nicer to have some moments within these songs where the two separated a little bit, so that you can really appreciate them individually and not always be forced to approach them as far as a collective. Now, like I said, the guitar solos is definitely one of those moments. And let me tell you, this album has really good guitar solos. That impressed me. I was not expecting that. I was expecting more heavy breakdowns, because that's just the style and that's just the sound experience that you're going to get. But the solos really impacted the songs in a positive way. Not only because they let the tracks breathe a little bit better and created that space, but because they allowed certain songs to become a little bit more easier to digest and added value to the way the songs are put together. And the whole album doesn't just feel like a big workout machine, because that's how the record really comes across. So I enjoy the guitar sound from that standpoint, the solo specifically. Overall, I could see the quality in the guitars. I just wanted them to stand out just a little bit more. The drums are very heavy, as I mentioned, tying up really well with the heaviness of the guitars. But you can see the warmth of the drum sound. You can really see the foundation that they give to this record, and sometimes coming through almost like pure machine guns. It's like you're watching Commando, and it's just like bullets are flying, grenades are being launched. The drums really have this thick and heavy impact, song in and song out, relentless at times, and that is very consistent from beginning all the way to the end. Now, once it gets into the vocals, outside of the Arnold, you have Tim really delivering a great performance. He has the right voice, the right delivery for an album like this, an album with this kind of sound, with this kind of backdrop, and with this kind of aggression and brutality. It's also an album that has a lot of guest appearances, and that adds flavor. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of seeing that many guest appearances track in and track out. It takes a little bit away from the band and what they're trying to do. But this is not just any band. This is Austrian Death Machine. So having those guest appearances, it's almost part of it. You almost need to have it. Even though you have a main character needs a good supporting cast. And on this record, I really found that they created a really solid supporting cast as far as guest musicians are concerned. Definitely adding value, bringing in experiences, bringing in different textures, different deliveries to make songs feel more dynamic, to not allow a record that has 10 tracks and 34 minutes in length to somehow sound repetitive. So they did a good job from that standpoint. And this album, like I mentioned earlier, is definitely a gym workout style record. I think that's the idea behind it, and they delivered it. If you're going to the gym, which obviously by looking at me you can tell that I'm not, but if you are going to the gym, you want to listen to this record. It's gonna pump you up. You're gonna want to work out. You want to lift some heavy shit, and then having Arnold in your ear is gonna be the extra motivation that you need. So coming into this album, understanding who the band is, what the project is all about, this is a fun record to listen to have a good time, to not overanalyze, and just rather enjoy it for what it is, for what it gives you. And it's going to give you some good headbanging moments, and it's going to give you some laughs as well. Now, as far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with Hey Bro, Can You Spot Me? Once again, I don't think you can get a better song for the gym than this one. Super driven, heavy, but also melodic. The guitar sound offers this thick experience, and then they intertwine some melody into it in order to make it a little bit more layered, a little bit more texture. The drums really complete that experience, and at times they feel glued with the guitar sound to give you this big wall that approaches you constantly. It's always coming at you, very relentless. It's a very thumping track, and the heavy vocals enhance that thumpiness of the song. And then once you get into the chorus with the clear vocals, the cleaner vocals, I should say, you see a more melodic side of the track, and this allows you to at first glance feel, wow, this is going to be a break. There's going to be a break between the verse and the chorus with this change, melody and clean vocals. But no, they kept some harsh vocals in the backdrop as backing vocals, as layers to the vocals. So the overall sense of heaviness, brutality, and thickness stays very consistent from start to finish, with just little nuances once you enter into the chorus, making the song really engaging and really interesting. Next, you have Judgment Day. Arnold is hilarious on this one. That's what I said earlier. I mean, you're going to enjoy this album, you're going to handbang, but you're also going to have some laughs. And Judgment Day is definitely a song with Arnold is at his best as far as his comedic personality, I should say, and it really comes across really well. Musically is a track that feels like a barrage of gunfire, of drums, guitars coming at you with super heavy vocals, feeling like the song is just about to explode. It has this aggression inherent and built into the design of the track, both from a musical standpoint but also from a vocal standpoint. And it has that firing machine gun style in terms of coming and going, really feeling, like I said, like a barrage. It has a little bit more of a heavy linear sound throughout, but it still is a song that has two different faces, two different experiences. It's just that they're really blended well with one another, so it gives it more of a linearity feel to it, even though the song is not super linear. It definitely has its ebbs and flows. Last but definitely not least, Get Down. Another song that has this heavy barrage feel to it, specifically from the drums. And when you think of a track called Get Down, you want to create a sense that bullets are flying over you. And this track offers that. I mean, you honestly feel when you listen to this song, the heaviness of the drums, the heaviness of the guitars, the relentlessness that they offer. It really feels like bullets are flying over you and you have to get down. So it has that experience. The title of the track is really well represented in the song itself. The two are intertwined. The layers of the vocals with cleans and harsh vocals working together creates a super textured experience as far as the vocal performance is concerned. A really straightforward sound-wise track that almost feels like it never pauses and it never breaks. It has two speeds, fast and faster. Great track all around. This is it, Austrian Death Machine with Quad Brutal, out February 23rd on Napalm Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Hit me up in the comment section, and I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.